So great to have you with us, Alex. Could you just share where you were with your hockey when you were 22 years old?
Yeah, sure. So I just got back from Australia. I played a season out there and lived out there for a little bit in Melbourne, which really enjoyed and was a brilliant experience for me. Came back and I then had moved to Southgate. So then spent 4 years at Southgate. So Southgate then were second division, a really exciting club trying to get promoted. Beautiful facilities, really lovely bunch of people, fantastic committee, and some really talented hockey players in the team. Unfortunately, didn't quite crack it, so we spent a few years. I think we came second and third and second, and yeah, cancelled for COVID. So we just didn't quite make the top spot. But
Yeah, and when you say Division Two, that's like Div One South, isn't it? Where you won
so
over Prem, basically.
so you got Prem and then below Prem. So now it's South Prem, I think it's called.
Yeah, Div One South in National League.
Div One South.
Was that higher than the standard you'd played before then? Would you say, or?
So I guess it was similar to what I played at Exeter, in that it was National League.
Yeah,
But at that time, the Exeter, the league there in the West League, I think it was probably not as strong as the league Southgate were in because of the strong London contingency.
sure.
So some really good teams there, yeah. So yeah, it was the highest league I played
Yeah,
in.
and could you just briefly just talk about your development in those 4 years? Because obviously, when you were at Exeter, you broke into that National League team in your last year, and we're just starting to get a feel for National League. But you really, you started to have a massive impact in when you were at Southgate.
Yeah, it was really exciting for me. I think was lucky to have some really good coaches there in Danny Newcombe and Matt Grinham in particular. He's probably, for me, the best coach I've had. And then for a short year, Mike Williamson as well. But that was really good for me. I was playing consistently in National League for a long period of time, which I hadn't before, which was brilliant. I was playing with guys who were a lot better than me and had played National League for a long time, and some guys who had international experience as well, which was invaluable. And then what was really good was for me was I got to a point where I started scoring goals, and I think the team needed that and relied on me. So I had to step up. I had to be a senior player and had to put in those performances. And I think I really enjoyed that pressure and enjoyed having to be one of those senior players and drive training and drive standards. And loved the club. Really bought in. Loved all the guys and the people behind the scenes as well. So that was really good for my experience and my development.
Yeah, no, it sounds like you had a fantastic development there, and I know you haven't said it overtly, but you were scoring. It's quite close. Was it like 15, 20 goals by the end? Is that right?
Yeah, I think yeah, I scored a couple of seasons on upwards of 15 goals, which was nice. So for me,
Wow.
that was big. That was a part of my game which I hadn't had before. I think I
Yeah.
always scored 5, 6, 7, 8 goals a season, but never consistently putting good numbers up. So that was a really good thing for me. I was really lucky that Grin, as a coach at the time, spent time trying to develop my game, trying to turn me into a goal scoring forward, and that paid huge dividends. And that's something I've been working on since.
Yeah, and then this season you made the decision to join Surbiton. Can you just share how the first half of the season went for you?
Yeah, a tale of two halves. I made the decision to leave Southgate, which was tough because I love the club and I had many guys who were absolute brothers to me, but wanted to play high, wanted to play Premier League, and it's something I've been thinking about for a couple of years. So made the decision to go to Surbiton. As far as I could tell, they were the best team and also the best club. I liked the whole club setup. It wasn't just about one team. They had the prospects of European hockey, and some of the guys playing there as well wanted to play with some of the best players in the country, which was a really exciting pull. So joined, did 3 sessions, loved it, and then tore my hamstring. So that was about as bad a start to a season that you could get. That was tough. I was kind of then in limbo. I didn't really know. Is the club going to sign me? Am I going to stay on? Are they going to say, actually, you're out for 4 months, so see you later? So I spent a lot of time on the sidelines, lots of really slow, tough rehab, but the club stuck by me and kept me around, which was really good. So I was going down to trainings, every couple of weeks, just keep my face in and trying to get to know the guys, obviously in a new group. Eventually got back to a point where I was playing in sort of November, but actually that was a bit soon and injured myself again.
Oh no.
So that was tough as well, at a point where I thought, this is it. You've been working hard, you're ready for it, but it was a bit too soon. And then went away, did a little bit of indoor training, literally 2 sessions, and then started in the new year and felt a bit better. So was really fortunate. Monica, my physio at home, and Charlotte, the new physio at Surbiton, were both brilliant and really helpful. And then was finally playing. I think I played my first game, played for the twos, end of February, which was really good. And then played once the following week, which was brilliant because that was against Wimbledon, so a big top of the table clash.
Oh wow, yeah. Talk us through. So that was your National Prem debut, right?
So National Prem debut was a 5-5 thriller. Yeah,
not a bad way to start.
But that's brilliant. That was why I made the move to play the big games, to play those exciting fixtures.
And how did it go for you in the league season first of all, before we talk about the EHL experience? How did the league season progress for you?
So I played, I think, 6 league games in the end, and to be fair, they went really well. We were unbeaten in those last 6 games. I think we had 1 draw and 5 wins, so that was really cool. So we drew Wimbledon and then went on to get some really good results and beat EG comfortably, later beat Wimbledon quite comfortably, beat Hampstead last game of the season. So that was really exciting. It was amazing to be getting consistent games in, for my body to be feeling good. Felt like I was playing well. I was getting goals, getting assists. So that was awesome after a really tough kind of 6 months of not playing and being on the sidelines, to finally get going again. And felt like I got up to speed all right. So yeah, it was brilliant. It was really
and I think really impressive to go in and have that impact straight away in the second half of the season, when you obviously haven't quite played at that level before.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think the culture of Surbiton is absolute excellence. So you have to get up to speed. There's no other option. And I think that the demand is you work hard and you get results. And I enjoyed that, and I had to get up to speed quicker. I wouldn't have been selected. And I had to make sure I was performing in games. So it was really exciting. Scoring, making up Premier League. Scoring in Premier League, getting assists was fantastic. That was real good for me. Yeah.
And then you obviously had this fantastic opportunity with the EHL, so the Euro Hockey League. Can you just talk us through that experience?
Yeah, so really fortunate that I was fit and firing in time for that, and worked out to be incredible. Personally, one of the best weeks I've ever had. Definitely best weeks of hockey I've ever had by a long way. And so flew out to Amsterdam, and we ended up playing 4 games over the 8-day period. So last 16 we beat Saint-Germain, Parisian team, quite convincingly, which was a good start. And then we beat KHC Dragons, so the Belgian champions, which was fantastic. Then semi-final last 4 in Europe, which was huge. We would have taken that going into it. So we lost to them. We were outclassed. They were a lot better than us, but that was a brilliant experience nonetheless, to play against a team of that caliber and some of those players they had. And then in third, fourth place playoff, we beat Campo de Madrid 2-1, which was awesome. So really exciting, and a little bit of celebrating Amsterdam. But yeah, incredible 4 days. Just the whole experience, being out in Amsterdam, the quality of hockey. We felt like we built so much over the last few weeks, and we're able to show that by getting third. And so unbelievable experience, both for the team, but for me personally, over the moon with that. Yeah,
incredible, because I think it was the first team to get to medal at the EHL for over a decade, wasn't it, for this English team?
Yeah.
So an amazing team achievement, and obviously also a personal achievement for you as well. And if we just look at that from a broader perspective, because I think it's an incredible inspiration and story for people, for our players and hockey mentors, and even the hockey community more broadly to look up to. What advice would you give an aspiring junior player who maybe doesn't make it into a junior international squad during my junior years like you did, and doesn't instantly get into a national league team, a university, or after leaving school? but you've persisted and you're playing in the top the top competition in the whole of Europe. So like, what advice would you give? Because although you're very modest about it, it's not it's not common, and it's obviously not easy either. So yeah, it'd be wonderful to hear your advice and thoughts on that.
Yeah. Well, thank you first of all for the nice compliment. I think I had a really nice moment when the day after, or was it a couple of days after we got back from the EHL, I was invited along to my old club, Oxford Hockey Club, to hand out some awards at their junior presentation evening, which was an awesome moment for me because I was there 20 years ago. I was sat, in the chairs and doing the round of applause and getting the player of the year or most improved, whatever it might be. So that for me was awesome. And something I spoke about there was, and I think you use the word, it's about persistence. If you want something, and you have to persist, you have to work hard, and you have to focus over a period of time. I've always loved sport, and in particularly loved hockey. I was when I was 11, I didn't get into the county side, and that was a really big blow for me. And then I didn't progress into the national age group side as a junior, and rightly so, wasn't good enough. And then at university, I started in the second team, and then after a month in my first year, I got dropped to the third team. So had so many setbacks, and even a few years ago, just before I joined Southgate, I was playing kind of third tier. But I think it's just about that persistence. If you want something, you've got to work for it. I've had quite a lot of times where people have sort of said, the level you're at now when you're 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, however old it is, the level you're going to stay at. But actually, I think if you're willing to work hard, if you're willing to persist, get advice from those who are better than you. I've been fortunate the last few years to play with lots of guys who are better than me, and I think that's one of the biggest things that I can do to develop my game. People who tactically or technically know the game better than me, and get their advice, put myself in a position where I'm not the best, where I can learn. But it just comes down to that persistence, that hard work, that focus and dogged determination to just keep going. And if you know what you want, that's easy. I knew I wanted to test myself and see what level I could play at hockey, and that was shooting for the Premier League and unfortunately EHL. So that focus has been there the last few years, just to keep working away, and I'm grateful I've got the opportunity.
Yeah, no, there's some brilliant mindset tips in there, which our players can certainly look up to in hockey mentors. And just as like a final question, as your journey's progressed, how have you had that confidence to continually going out your comfort zone? Because it is, it's like you've sort of taken that, next step, and seemingly thrived on it. Like, how do you have that confidence to, because you're at Southgate, like you're banging in 15, 20 goal, whatever it is a season, and you become a key player of a team. It's quite a step to then put yourself in, Surbiton and be like, do you know what I mean? Play with
potentially be the worst player.
Yeah, like it's like, how do you have that inner confidence to be able to do that?
It's a good question. I think for me, I hate the idea of looking back and regretting something. So I hate the idea in 2 years being like, I didn't do this because I was comfortable, or I didn't push myself out of my comfort zone because I was, happy there or set there, whatever. And for me, I think I've always had that mindset of what if, what could I achieve? And maybe if I do this, I'll achieve more. And so I think that's a massive driver for me. I think potentially there's a level of arrogance. I always think I can be better. Like some of the guys I see playing for certain squads, or when I wasn't playing Prem and I'm watching them play Prem, I'm like, I'm better than him. So potentially a level of arrogance there, but the mix between thinking, I don't want to look back and regret something, and I don't want to think what if. I want to see how far can I push myself, what could I be capable of. And also, like, what's the worst that could happen? If I went to Surbiton and didn't get picked, then I'll play twos. I'm still playing hockey and enjoy it. It's a decent level. Or actually, I'll go back to Southgate. So I think there's also there's a comfort in actually what's the worst that could happen as well.
Yeah, like that broader perspective of
bigger picture thinking maybe.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing those insights, and it's been wonderful to hear those those little mindset tips. And yeah, awesome just to see your journey so far and continue to have you involved in Hockey Mentors.
Nice one. Thanks, Zach. Cheers.